Lo-Shu-Grid is a square-shaped design which consists of 9 numbers from 1 to 9 with 3 rows and 3 columns. Total of each row and each column sums to 15. Chinese numerology has always been associated with the magical Lo-Shu-Grid, which was discovered around 4,000 years ago. The intrinsic patterns of the base chart, together with the way the numbers move about the grid, are believed to offer clues on the characteristics and outcomes of events within the environment. The Lo-Shu-Grid is the central principle behind flying star Feng Shui and also used in the interpretation of individual birth charts. The story of this square's origin dates back to almost 4,000 years old China. Legend says that Chinese people found a tortoise shell during the flood of the river Lo. This tortoise shell had a 3x3 square on its back, and the sum of every horizontal, vertical and diagonal row was added up to 15. Now 15 is the number of days between the new moon and the full moon. Number 5 was highly regarded in China, and this magic square had number 5 in center. In China it was considered auspicious omen because they believed that God lived inside tortoise and turtle shells. The arrow's weakness. There are 8 arrows of weakness depending on the row missing in the grid after completing the numbers from your date of birth. These are the arrow of frustration, the arrow of suspicion, the arrow of loneliness, the arrow of apathy, the arrow of confusion, the arrow of losses, the arrow of indecision, the arrow of poor memory. The arrow of frustrations. The arrow of frustrations is a diagonal arrow created by the absence of the numbers 8, 5 and 2. This arrow indicates many setbacks and frustrations. In the East it is regarded as a sign of consistent failure. People who have this arrow should try to learn from every experience and think carefully before acting. Someone born on the 19th of June, 1974 in the lunar calendar would have the arrow of frustrations. The arrow of suspicion. This arrow is created by an absence of the numbers 4, 5 and 6. This arrow indicates people who are suspicious, cynical, and moody. They are inclined to worry and dwell on the negative side of life. This arrow revealed a grey person, indicating someone who always lives in the shade and never comes out into the full light of day. Someone born the 12th of July, 1982 in the lunar calendar would have the arrow of suspicion. The arrow of loneliness. This arrow consists of the absence of the numbers 3, 5 and 7 in the center horizontal row. This arrow denotes a lack of feelings. People with this arrow are so intent on achieving their goals that they forget their friends and family, and consequently lack joy, love and laughter in their lives. They usually suffer enormously from loneliness in their old age. Someone born the 28th of August, 1986, in the lunar calendar would have the arrow of loneliness. The arrow of apathy. This arrow is created when the chart lacks the numbers 2, 7 and 6 in last vertical row. People with the arrow of apathy lack motivation and fail to grasp opportunities, even when freely handed to them. These people are indecisive, frightened of taking risks, and generally achieve only a fraction of what they could do if they applied themselves. Someone born the 14th of May, 1983, in the lunar calendar would have the arrow of apathy. The arrow of confusion. This arrow is caused by lack of the numbers 8, 3 and 4 in the chart. It occupies the left-hand vertical column. People with this arrow are not logical, methodical, or organized. They live from day to day, seldom making long-term plans. When they do, they usually sabotage the plans before they bear fruit. Someone born the 12th of July, 1975, in the lunar calendar has the arrow of confusion. The arrow of losses. This arrow is created by an absence of the numbers 8, 1 and 6 in the bottom horizontal row. Consequently, nobody has had this arrow in their charts for the last 1,000 years, but it will appear again in the 21st century. These people will try to make money by participating in get-rich-quick schemes. They will constantly fail in these, and will not realize until middle age that if they had put the same amount of effort into a single, worthwhile goal, they would have achieved success. People born the 23rd of April, 2035, in the lunar calendar will have the arrow of losses. The arrow of indecision. This arrow is created by an absence of the number 1, 5 and 9 in the center vertical row. No one has had this arrow for the last 1,000 years, but we will start to see it in the 21st century. People with this arrow have a desperate desire to be accepted and liked. Consequently, they can be easily led and swayed by others. They will find it extremely hard to stand up for what they believe in, as they want to please everyone and are unable to express views that other people might not accept. Someone born on the 8th of July 2002 would have the above arrow. The arrow of poor memory. This arrow is created by an absence of the numbers 4, 9 and 2 in the top horizontal row. This arrow will not be found until the 31st century. Everyone born in last century has had a 9 in his or her chart, and everyone born in the next 1000 years will have a 2. People with this arrow start out in life with strong intellectual capabilities that gradually weaken as the person matures. These people are also frequently overwhelmed by the vivid nature of their thoughts and can suffer from mental imbalance. Someone born on the 6th of May 3087 would have this arrow.